Welcome to the Mini Squad Coach Workshop. If you have not already watched the initial Mini Squad Coach training videos, please go back and do that before you continue on watching the workshop videos. The first section of the Mini Squad Coach Workshop is going to be just reviewing a few things that we may have already talked about a little bit in your training, but I also realize that there is a slight gap in information. There's like a break in the recording. So we're just going to cover a few things. If it's a review for you, great. If it's new, even better. So the first thing that I want to go over, there tends to be some confusion year to year about the role of the mini squad leader. And I think that we all agree that the mini squad leader is quite possibly of the most important, if not the most impactful role that there is in Moms Nation leadership. We think that this role is very important. This role is also very specific, right? The mini squad leader role is specifically designed for a leader to nurture and build relationships with just a small group of people, their group. So between 8 to 12 moms typically. Now, the confusion comes when we say that the mini squad leaders are not part of your mom squad leadership team, which is true. The mini squad coach is part of the mom squad team, and the mini squad coach oversees the mini squad leaders. The mini squad or the mom squad is responsible for everything that happens in the group as a whole. So everything for all participants, which is why they are considered the top level of leadership, and they are that is what that group's responsibility is. The mini squad leaders nest underneath the mini squad coach. Not that they're less important than, they just have a different responsibility and a different focus. And because those two focuses are different, that is why we encourage you to keep your mini squad leaders separate from your planning meetings from your mom squad team, so that they can all focus their energy on where it matters most. For the mini squad leaders, on their specific small group, and for the mom squad, on the overall planning for the group as an entirety. If you have questions about this, we are happy to have conversations. This differentiation is not to say that one is more important than the other. It's just to identify the fact that they're two very different roles, and we want to make sure that when we are asking you to spend time in meetings, that time is being utilized well on the things that matter to those specific roles. Which moves us into our monthly meetings. We are asking you to have a monthly meeting with your mom squad leaders that happens outside of your mom squad meetings at a separate time. This gives you time to focus on coaching, caring for, connecting with the mini squad leaders. Ideally, we would ask for you to have a monthly meeting in person. We know that doesn't always work, so we're willing to have a little bit of flexibility. But if you cannot have a monthly in-person meeting, we are going to ask you that you would have at least, at a minimum, this is a very, very minimum, we would have one in-person meeting per semester. When you gather together in person, it creates a community where the mom squad leaders are being poured into. When you think about her time in the large meetings, she is not being poured into. She's the one who's pouring out. So the mini squad leader meetings become her small group, where the mini squad coaches are pouring into the mini squad leaders. That gives her time to be refreshed and build her own community. So that's why we ask you to set this time apart. It also allows for timely and targeted coaching and mentoring if it's needed, and identifying for the need for care and support for the moms in all of the individual groups. If you want to share a meal together, you can use some budget money to provide a meal, and you can decide whether or not it makes sense for you to hold those meetings before your monthly Mom Squad meeting or after. There's flexibility there too. There's pros and cons of both. If you have it before your Mom Squad meeting, you have the advantage of taking the information and the feedback from your mini squad leaders and sharing it with your Mom Squad to assist in the planning. But then you would have to take information from the Mom Squad meeting and communicate it back in a text or an email to your mini squad leaders. And the vice versa would be true. If you have your mini squad leader after your Mom Squad meeting, you would be able to communicate all the plans and information from the Mom Squad to your mini squad leaders. But then you would take the feedback that you get from mini squad leaders and need for care and all of those things, and the information that you gather from your mini squad leaders, then you would communicate them back to your Mom Squad. And I know what some of you may be saying, it would be so much easier if we could all just put everybody in the same room. And I understand where you're coming from, but hear me say that, especially for the larger groups, this becomes such a time suck. You end up spending so much time talking about things that doesn't apply to everybody in the room. And that's why we're asking you to do this. For the mini squad coach, this is your whole job. Your whole job is being the back and forth between the Mom Squad and the mini squad leaders. So this is why your role is so important, is to be a shuttle of information back and forth between those two groups. As far as scheduling goes, I would encourage you to prioritize planning a team building get together over the summer with the mini squad leaders in your groups, and also put together a schedule of your monthly mini squad leader meetings. You're gonna want to send the list of your meeting dates and times to Rebecca so that she can get room reservations in. Please don't communicate your meeting schedule out until after you get confirmation from Rebecca that those dates and times are available for meeting when you want to. At your first meeting with your mini squad leaders, you're going to want to spend time doing team building. You're going to want to leave time to address any questions that may have come up since they completed their training. You're going to communicate plans for launch and preview day, which we'll get into. You're going to go ahead and plan that mini squad get together that maybe happens before your first meeting, so that might not be necessary. And you're going to spend some time brainstorming and idea sharing, things that your mini squad leaders want to accomplish. You can share with each other and brainstorm with each other and bounce ideas off of each other of things that they're excited for and things that they want to do, things that maybe they want to share back with the Mom Squad about things that they're excited for and things that are important to them. In your meetings, you are going to take time making your meeting the model for their mini squad time during large meetings. So you, as the mini squad coach, you are the master relationship builder. You are going to focus on building relationships in your meetings. So you're going to spend time doing get to know you activities, really getting to know the mini squad leaders in your group. You're going to do check-ins with them just to see how life is, to see how things are going, what's going on, what's important, milestones, celebrations, struggles. Maybe they have needs for care within your own group of mini squad leaders, and you want to make sure that you identify those and care for those moms if they need them. You're going to plan get-togethers outside of your group as time allows, just to spend time building relationships. You are the ultimate mini squad leader. You are the mini squad leader of mini squad leaders, and you want to make sure you model well how to do that role. You want to make sure that you are spending time hearing from each of them. And in that time, I would encourage you to have them share their comments and feedback from their own perspective and from the people in their mini squad groups about the meetings that we've had, activities that we've done, special events. What are they thinking? What are they feeling? Are they loving them? Do they think that they're lame? Is there a speaker that really resonated? We want to hear about that. Is there a speaker that totally bombed and everybody's so confused as to why they got booked and why they're being recommended? We want to hear about that too. Make sure you're having those conversations and shuttling that information back to your mom squad. Again, you're going to make sure that we are identifying the need for care for those groups. You're gathering any of those things and communicating it back to the caring mom. Take time for, I call it, there's a couple different things you can call it, pits, peaks, and potential, or you can do a high, low, and grow. This can be Moms Nation related or personal. But if you're going to do this in your meetings, I would just give your MSLs a heads up that you plan on doing this so they can think about it ahead of time so they don't feel put on the spot. But this is just a time to talk about celebrations, your highs, lows, things that you're struggling with, and grows, opportunity to learn and to do better. So again, I call those either pits, peaks, and potential, or high, low, grow. High, low, grow is a little more fun. And again, I can't emphasize this enough. You're going to prioritize meeting together monthly, in person, separate from your mom squad, so that you can have time to do all of those things. The thing that Moms Nation participants consistently ask for year after year after year for as long as I've been involved, which is a decade now, moms are always asking for more mini squad time. Your mini squad leader meeting gives this to your mini squad leaders and models how to do their mini squad time well. So please prioritize this. I know that it can feel like one more meeting on the schedule, but maybe don't try to think about it as another meeting on a schedule, but as another opportunity to build relationships with the moms in your group, which is the most important work here. Things that you will want to watch in your group that you may need to adjust and address with your mini squad leaders is food expectations, storage, consistency, making sure that food looks pretty similar from week to week, making sure that your mini squad leaders understand how to coordinate the food when it's their turn. If you do it on a rotating schedule, or even if you do it on a sign-up based schedule, just making sure that everybody understands how to manage that and what the expectations are so that it stays consistent from week to week and group to group. I cannot emphasize enough, if you have a participant in Moms Nation who's going to be absent on a week that is her responsibility to bring food, it is that mom's responsibility to find someone who is willing to swap with her or just sub for her. Now, there is not any expectation that a mini squad leader, or any leader for that matter, would take on the extra work and expense to cover a mom's absence with food. If you have a mom who's going to be absent, that is not your mini squad leader's job. It is not your mom squad's job to bring extra food because of her absence. If a mom is absent at the last minute because she's sick, food can just drop. You can usually handle one person dropping. It's not that big of a deal. If you're noticing that moms are just not showing up when it's time for food, that's something that needs to be addressed with your moms. We need to make sure that we keep it as fair as possible, and we need to make sure that the responsibility for food stays on who's supposed to bring it. Now, you may have moms that opt out of eating the meal entirely, which is fine. There is an option for that on registration, and the budget mom will communicate that out, if there are any moms in your group that are not participating in the shared meal at all, which means that they aren't eating and they aren't bringing food. They just are opting out. People do this for a variety of reasons, but that is a possibility. The other possibility is dietary restrictions, which just means that there is food that they eat or do not eat that makes it difficult for them to eat the shared meal. And so they just opt out of it for personal reasons, safety reasons, health reasons, etc. So we respect that. That's a choice that we've decided to give. For the other moms in your group that have dietary restrictions that they maybe can navigate eating a shared meal, this is why it's so important that we make sure that we're labeling our food well when we bring it. Some moms just print out the whole recipe so you know exactly what went in. Other people just list off any potential common allergens that are in the dish. There's a lot of different ways that you can do this, but making sure that you do this so that the moms in your group that do have food allergies and other dietary restrictions can eat safely is so important. So just make sure that your mini squad leaders understand that and are able to communicate that well. This is a great opportunity to bring your foodie mom into your first mini squad leader meeting to help just train them on those parts of things. You absolutely can bring them in. You can bring your caring mom in to address those things as well, and we'll get into that a little bit more as well. The other thing to watch in your group is confidentiality. We are a gossip-free zone. We want to make sure that whatever conversations are happening in mini squad groups, even in large groups, and in our Facebook groups, that those conversations are staying confidential and private. We don't want to hear about screen caps of people taking information out of the Facebook groups and sharing them with other people. We don't want to hear chatter. If you see gossip, hear gossip, chatter, it needs to be shut down immediately and addressed. So please just make sure that we are being mindful of that. And then finally, you will work with your squad leaders to provide discussion questions and announcements, etc., to your mini squad leaders ahead of time. Most of the speakers tend to provide discussion questions. If you have a meeting where there isn't a speaker and there's just an activity, you are going to want to you're going to be responsible as a mini squad coach for coming up with discussion questions or some sort of activity that your mini squad groups will do once they are dismissed for small group time. So just be aware of that if there's a meeting where there is a speaker who doesn't provide questions, or maybe there's a mom panel or some sort of panel and there's not questions provided, or a meeting without any sort of speaker, you will need to come up with some sort of structure for that mini squad time so that there is just a skeleton of what needs to happen in that mini squad time just to help keep things on track. Okay. Mini squad leader check-ins. Just like we ask our mini squad leaders to check in with the people in their group, we're going to ask you as a mini squad coach to do the same thing. And that looks like having a group chat, a group text going on with all of your mini squad leaders to just be able to chatter. You can absolutely set time limits on this and remind them that, like, hey, we're not group texting before 8 o'clock or after 8 o'clock, or whatever time you want to put on that. We want to be mindful of meal times and morning routines and bedtimes and all of those things. So we definitely don't want a group chat to turn into something that's a disturbance, but it's a really great way to communicate information quickly when you need to, and just stay in touch in between meetings. I would also encourage you to do individual text messages and check-ins. Hey, just thinking about you. Hope your day's going well. Can I pray for you today? Super simple, super basic, but those touch points are the relationship building that we're asking our mini squad leaders to do with their groups, and therefore asking our mini squad coaches to do with our mini squad leaders as well. You might choose to do some like porch fairy drops, bring in a cup of coffee or a favorite snack, and just dropping it off at their house. This is not expected. This is definitely not mandatory, but many people choose to do it, and it's a fun, personalized touch that just really brightens people's days. A handwritten note, I call them caught doing something good. Just a note like, hey, I saw how you handled that really hard situation, or hey, I saw how you really showed up for that mom that was having a hard day, or hey, I just really love how you are such a good listener in conversations. Just a note to let her see that she's seen and what you appreciate about her. Again, a handwritten note can go just so far. And who doesn't love getting mail? Like, that's not a bill. It's absolutely so exciting to me when I get like real mail. It's so fun. And make sure that you're caring for your mini squad leaders. Mini squad leaders are moms who have life happen to them too. And making sure that we're paying attention, that if you have mini squad leaders that are having babies or going through health struggles or experiencing a death in the family or whatever else, and she could really just use some people to come alongside her and bring a meal or two, or just show up for her in other ways. Make sure that we're paying attention to that and caring for our mini squad leaders as well. You will also want to celebrate with your team. Many squad leader teams will come together and plan Christmas party or holiday party. I know that time of year can be very tricky to plan things in. So sometimes like a New Year's party is a little bit easier to navigate after all the craziness is over. Just be mindful of expenses at that time. If you're going to plan something after or around the holidays, definitely encourage it to be something that's paid for out of budget or just in somebody, like a potluck in somebody's home. Maybe a simple gift exchange, but nothing that's going to really break the bank. We want to just be mindful of how expensive that time of the year can be. And then it's always great. We strongly encourage you to have an end of the year celebration as a thank you. This can be, again, a meal out, a party, whatever you want to do. We definitely encourage you just to celebrate your team, celebrate with your team, and just continue to build those relationships all throughout the year. We talked a little bit about a few of these things, but I want to also just spend a little bit more time going deeper on having difficult conversations. It happens every year. It just comes up. There will be likely a difficult conversation that you will have to have with someone about something, and it can be all sorts of different things. Some of the ways that we typically see those difficult conversations coming up, we'll see, we've already talked about the confidentiality in mini squad discussion group time. Just make sure that your mini squad leaders are going over the mini squad covenant, which is in the participant handbook. Just addressing that and being proactive and making sure that we are protecting the conversations that are happening in there. If we notice that those things if that confidentiality is not being protected, that is definitely a difficult conversation that we're going to have with whoever is doing it. And it might not be ill-intended, right? It could just be like, didn't even think about it. It just came out. I'm so sorry. Or it could be a personal beef. We don't know. But it does need to be addressed. We sometimes, because people become very vulnerable and in the small group discussion time specifically, there may be sensitive questions, information, or situations that come up. This could be just something that's controversial. It could be political things. It can be breastfeeding versus formula. It can be different parenting styles. There are a lot of different things that can come up that can just create some dissent in your groups. We've also had moms bring up difficult personal situations, abuse, and other really hard home situations. make sure that your mini squad leaders just note that when things like this happen, to handle it with sensitivity. We don't want to make anybody feel like their opinions and situations aren't important, that they aren't valid. But we also don't want to create a situation that just feels unsafe or unhealthy for our group as a whole. So steering away from some of those conversations that can become unhealthy, and also being able to identify when a conversation turns into something that might require getting help from someone besides themselves. Like I said, we've seen situations where moms have needed counseling, they've needed medical attention, they've needed help beyond what we can even give. So you will, if you navigate a situation that feels bigger than what you feel equipped to handle, do not hesitate to move that right on up the flagpole. You are free to go to your squad leader, come to Moms Nation staff if you don't know how to do it. Again, handle it with confidentiality, not with the spirit of gossip. We don't want to tell everybody while we're figuring out how to handle something. We only want to tell who is necessary. Sometimes we also just have moms that just have a tendency to bring up divisive topics, and sometimes we need to just have a sideline conversation with them and say, hey, like, your opinions matter and they're valid, but like, we're just going to stay off of this topic and this topic and this topic to make sure that everybody feels comfortable in having a conversation. Those conversations aren't fun, but they are necessary to protect that time. In addition to Moms Nation staff, the Faith Church Care Team is also available if there are situations where that is appropriate. Again, they can step in and help with counseling, food insecurity, and other resources that might be needed for moms that are needing a deeper level of care. As far as the mini squad coach's actual responsibilities go, you, outside of those meetings, you do have some planning and coordination responsibilities. So the mini squad coach is responsible for creating mini squad groups. Typically, the Sparkle Mom will create group names. So you'll work with her to make sure there's enough names for groups and so that you know what the names for the groups are. The budget mom will get a list of registered participants to you. You may have to just request it from her if you're ahead of her schedule. So just reach out and ask her for a list of your registered participants. You don't need to do this until really your groups start. We'll talk more about that. But this can be done very, very late because of some changes that we've made in the schedule for this year. Your budget mom will identify any new moms who've requested to be with a friend. Only first-year participants who've never been in your group before should be placed with a friend. Anybody who's returning, they just get thrown in the pot and divvied up. Unless someone has requested to be with her. That's a first-year participant. Your budget mom will also identify anybody who's opted out of meals like we spoke about. And then when you make these groups, you are not going to overthink it. I recommend literally throw names in a hat. Like, we are just randomly placing people in a group. We are not trying to put friends together. This is a time where we encourage people to build new relationships. We are not trying to arrange people by the age of their kids or where they live. No matter what, there will be some hiccup in how you do that. So we just encourage you to just literally let God decide who's going to be in the groups and pull names out of a hat and just do it very randomly. We recommend 8 to 12 moms per group. The smaller groups allow for growth as new registrations come in later. So we definitely, if you're going to create groups, don't max them all the way out. Don't start with 12 people in every group, because then, you have a new mom come in and there's one person in this new group because you've already maxed out a group, or you have just giant groups, and that becomes just a really unenjoyable experience for most people, because you don't have a lot of time to build relationships in those super big groups. If you have smaller groups, you can always create sister groups to partner with. So, let's say that you end up with groups that have like 6 to 8 people in them. Those sister groups give you an opportunity that if you've got a week where you've got several people that are absent all at the same time, and your groups of 6 to 8 turn into a couple of groups of 4 to 5, you can just combine your 2 groups together, still have a really healthy sized group, and it can make conversation feel a little less awkward. It's not mandatory, but it is helpful when you choose to do those smaller groups. It also can be used for events and going out and getting to meet people outside of your group as well. Starting this year, because we are having preview day on the first meeting, so there will be no mini squad group time in the first meeting, which means that we don't need and we should not create our mini squad groups until after preview day. This is a change from every year before. So you will not create your mini squad groups until after your preview day, your first meeting happens. I know this is different. We're going to try it. If we hate it, we can always change it next year. But for this year, we will be creating our mini squad groups after preview day, which is your first meeting of the year. There will not be mini squad time during that preview day, the first meeting, and so you don't have to worry about that. People can just sit where they want for that first meeting. You'll want to make sure that there's some intentionality with guests and you're placing them and introducing them to people. But that is what the plan is for this year, which means that the mini squad coach will create those groups after preview day. And then as soon as those groups are created, the mini squad coach will hand the list of all of those participants off to the budget mom, and then she will take over managing, placing any late registrations into groups and making sure that she knows what's going on and who's where. You and your budget mom will communicate those groups to not only your budget mom, but also to your mini squad leaders after that first meeting, after preview day. And then that's the end of the responsibility for the mini squad coach. If there are new moms placed into a group, the budget mom should typically tell the mini squad coach, hey, there's a new mom, and she goes into this group. So it'll be a matter of communication and not actual placement from that point out. For the groups that have Encourager Moms, we several years ago shifted Encourager Moms. Encourager Moms are volunteers, but they're no longer considered leaders. So they're just treated as a member in your group. They do serve as volunteer team members underneath the caring mom. After considering what the Encourager Mom does, we have realized that this fits the best with what the caring mom's responsibilities are. And so those Encourager Moms are coordinated by the caring mom. They're able to provide support. They should be coordinated with the caring mom. If your group has enough Encourager Moms, you'll get one assigned to each group. Otherwise, your group needs to make a plan on what to do with the Encourager Moms that you do have. We typically recommend a rotation through groups so that everybody gets the opportunity to have that Encourager Mom in the group, but we also recognize that this can be difficult for the Encourager Mom because she's not really able to build deep relationships. So you just need to navigate what works best for your group. If you have questions on how to handle this, you are free to reach out to myself or to Rebecca. There should not, however, be more than one Encourager Mom per mini squad group. We find that this can shift the dynamic in the group, and the conversation can become really Encourager Mom heavy. They can sometimes feed off of each other and take over the conversation, and we don't want that. That's not what the intention is for an Encourager Mom or for our experience in the group. So only one Encourager Mom per group. And then just finally, you have a summer checklist. Make sure that you're taking a look at the summer checklist and you're completing all of the things that are on that checklist over the summer before launch, just so we make sure that everybody is ready to go and has accomplished all of the things that are necessary to make sure that we have a successful kickoff.